Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Rapid Fire Reviews. So, of course, I do these when I get a little behind on my movie watching for the year. And I want to pump out a bunch of reviews quickly, just go over my basic overview of the films, what I thought about them, what I recommend them, and of course, my score. And I mostly tend to do these for kind of straight to streaming. So Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, things that go straight to streaming, or just kind of smaller releases or just things that I didn't get the chance to watch from a lot earlier in the year. So I have four films that I'm going to be covering today. That is Umma, The Outfit, The Bubble, and Metal Lords. So I will start off really quickly here, and yeah, let's just get into it without further ado. So the first film I'm going to cover is Umma. This stars Sandra Oh, and she plays a character named Amanda. So her and her daughter live in a very quiet American town on a farm. She is, I forget the condition, but basically, if you watch like Better Call Saul, she has the same condition as Saul's brother, where she is allergic to electricity. It just basically shuts off a lot of her motor function. So they live pretty isolated without like completely minimal technology. But the remains of her mother arrive from Korea. They're sent to her, and she starts becoming haunted by the fear of turning into her own mother. So it is a horror movie, more so I would say a thriller, but they do try and have some scares in this. Most of them kind of come in the form of jump scares, and I found that a lot of the storytelling in this is very, very slow, very slow pace, getting to know exactly what her fear of her mother is and explaining how she has that own fear, passing it off to her daughter. There isn't a whole lot of storytelling in it, but there is some good moments that are shared between her and her daughter in terms of just their bond and how much it can grow, what they're both afraid of about their relationship and where it could go, the fears that they have inside already. But of course, there is a lot of love and care in the story that they're able to address too. So it is a decent film, but I just found when it came to the horror, the pacing, and a bit of the storytelling, that was what its weak points were, and that's one of the main selling points of the movie is it drags on a little bit. It was a little tough to get into, but in all honesty, Sandra Oh delivers a very good performance. When it comes to the CGI and things like that, it's honestly pretty decent. So with everything taken together, I'm going to give Uma a 5 out of 10. The next film I have is The Outfit. So this is a bit of a gangster mobster movie, and it is about an expert tailor who works with an outfit of mobsters. So he supplies their clothing, but also helps them run their criminal organization through his tailor shop. And basically things go very, very south. There's almost like a coup and a struggle for power within the organization, and it's all going down in one night in his tailor shop. So he has to basically outwit all the mobsters in order to survive a very fateful night. He has to outwit his own assistant, who's been very, very dear to him for the last few years, and she wants to move on with her life and build something of her own for herself. And he kind of starts to realize that maybe she isn't who he thought she was all these years. And yeah, I did actually find that the first little bit of this movie, I want to say for the first, it's about an hour and 45 minutes, and for the first hour, it's very, very extremely slow paced and tough to get into, extremely predictable in terms of where it's going to go, the twists that are coming. But I found like most of the last half an hour was when this movie actually started to pick up speed, had a really good message at the end, a very good ending that I did quite enjoy. I found kind of the final stand was a little bit goofy, a little outrageous, but nothing completely unbelievable or that really took a lot away from the movie. Just because, again, I liked kind of what happened right before that final stand kind of takes place. And that was the point where I thought it was not completely unpredictable, but just better storytelling, more unique, and I just like the direction that they took it. It is directed very, very well. The fight scenes, so the action scenes, things like that, even though there isn't really a whole lot, are very mobster like. They're quick, they're brutal, and yeah, there isn't really much said more about that. I found that added to the acting and the score, and it was a pretty solid movie. So again, it is a little tough to get into. The pacing in the first little bit isn't the greatest thing, but at the end of it, I'm gonna have to give The Outfit a 7 out of 10. It really came together, and it became a film that I could highly recommend. Next film we have is The Bubble. You can find this one on Netflix, and yeah, so it is a comedy film, and it has a bunch of stars in it. Pedro Pascal, we have Keegan Michael Key, Karen Gillian's in this. It has a lot more names, but it is about a group of actors, basically kind of near the start of COVID, who come together to film a movie, which is going to be the sixth in like this franchise that they have within the movie and these actors. So they're all isolated within a hotel that they're going to shoot this movie in. And it's basically, it goes into a lot about just how COVID hit the rest of the world, hit actors, hit famous people. And there is a lot of satire that kind of no one in the movie is safe for, even the audience, the viewers, about how we judge these people. And of course, how they judge us, how they think that their lives are so terrible living and imagine that they're getting paid millions to do for a few months. But it just kind of turns into an absolute horror show of very terrible labor standards getting this film done. And again, just a whole satire about movie making, about COVID, about actors, relationships, things like that. And again, some of the humor in this is it can get extremely raunchy. There's some scenes with Daisy Ridley's in this. There's a lot of cameos actually that I want to say all kind of landed and hit the mark and I thought were really funny. But yeah, there's just some super raunchy scenes, so that can be a lot of the humor. So if that's not your speed, there is going to be a great chunk of this movie that's not going to quite be for you. But it's honestly, the acting is very funny. Everyone brings good comedic energy and chemistry to this film, and I did enjoy my time watching it. Even though, like I said, not everything landed for me. It was funny. I appreciate the performance. I appreciate the satire and everything in this film. And yeah, no, honestly, it was pretty solid. And with everything taken together, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. Again, I feel like where your humor mostly lies is how much you're going to enjoy this movie. It almost feels like a comedic version of Don't Look Up, which came out really late last year, but more so, again, about actually dealing with COVID and a satire of just big budget blockbusters and the cast that kind of goes into them more so than what Don't Look Up went for. And the last film I have is also a Netflix original that just came out this last Friday. It is called Metal Lord. So it is kind of a bit of a coming of age story, high school. Battle of the Bands is happening, and it is about two friends who, again, they're in a very prep school, but they love metal and they want to compete in the Battle of the Bands. There's a lot of drama that happens, mostly with the main singer and just his perception of reality, friends being scared of everything. So again, pushing everything off and telling them they suck because he's afraid, like things like that, just commentary that fit into the high school experience for a lot of people, just feeling alienated because of one like that you have, and people basically thinking that's because you like this one thing, that's what your whole identity is based off of. Again, there's some commentary on that, but the music's pretty solid in it, so I'll give it that. Performances are good. It's actually shot decently well, except when they go into the concert scenes. I found it kind of got into the shaky cam and things like that. It is pretty funny. There was a few scenes that just made me absolutely laugh out loud. There's a car chase that ends in what I thought was just an absolutely hilarious way. I enjoyed quite a lot of this film, and yeah, it's honestly pretty solid. I found like it missed the mark on some of its commentary, where they just could have dived into a lot more. I think just kind of the main one was one of the main characters in a hot tub with a girl after he starts getting a little bit popular. Of course, there's the good choice of he has someone that he really cares for and she starts making moves on him, but she's like drunk as hell and they don't kind of address that. So like little things like that that they could have definitely given a lot more commentary on, and it would have been a little bit more effective in storytelling. I found if they went down that line. But honestly, I did enjoy my time with the Metal Lords, and that's why I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. And if you've seen any of these films, please let me know what you thought about them in the comments down below. And if you like this review, of course, give it a thumbs up. You can subscribe, turn a little ringer on if you want to know when I upload new videos, and thank you for doing that. For convenience sake, I'll link some videos and playlists up top here. And if you want to check out everything I do Twitch and live stream wise, there's a link to that in the description of this video. And of course, my channel bio. On both of those places, there's a link to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you can definitely join that amazing community. I'll make it even more amazing than it is already. And yeah, just awesome, guys.